what is 0 factorial? Now it might seem odd because as you know, a factorial is for example, 5 factorial is this number all the way down to 1 multiplied with each of its consecutive numbers all the way down to 1. So what would this be? Let me go ahead and ask another question before I answer this question. What is a to the power of 0 and why does that always equal 1? Do you just give it a thought? Because how do you multiply a by itself 0 times? Well, it turns out there's always a pattern in math, and that's exactly why when you multiply a by itself 0 times, you get 1. And that's because if we assign a random value to a, let's make a equal to 2. So we have a to the power of 1 equals, or I'll just write a 2 in so it's easier. So 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And so forth. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 2 to the power of 5 is 32. So if you start to notice a pattern here, if we work backwards all the way up to 0, because we're trying to find what the limit is as we approach 0, we're dividing by 2 here. To get from 16 to 8, we ought to divide by 2 again. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Thus, it only makes sense if we're to go to 2 to the power of 0, we must divide by 2. And then we get an answer of 1. So that's why any number to the power of 0 is always equal to 1. But if we look back to how this relates to our factorial question, in this exact same way, where it seems odd that something to the power of multiplied by itself 0 times is 1, in the exact same way, 0 factorial is also weird, but we can assign a pattern to it to make it a little bit easier for us. So, if we ignore this really quick, that was just the definition. Factorial, 1 factorial is just 1. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which equals 2. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, which equals 6. 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which equals 24. And so forth, right? So we can also assign a pattern to this. Since we know that to get from 24 to 6, you just divide by 4. 6 to 2, we also divide by 3. So you start to notice a pattern here. From 2 to 1, we divide by 2. So the only logical sense is, as you can see, it's decreasing every time. So to go from 1, factorial 1 to the factorial 0, we also must divide by 1. And 1 divided by 1 is 1. So 0 factorial is actually 1.